Hey, noble ones. Wow. What did you click yourself into? Alright, unless you live under a rock, pun intended with the surname of a certain person we're going to talk about today, unless you live under a rock, you must have heard about the Ghost of Yōtei, which is the new Sucker Punch studio production set in feudal Japan, which of course it's a setting that, you know, I kind of like. So, yeah, it's one of those games that having also really liked and covered in a few videos. Let me show you, because shameless plug, let's get those views. Baby. Having covered Ghost of Tsushima myself quite a few times, as you see, I've got a few videos now given. I may have made some of these in actual Japanese. I'm very sorry for that, I just couldn't help myself. But regardless, Ghost of Tsushima was a fantastic game. Like really one of those games that hits the nail on the head when it comes to, you know, our desire to experience feudal Japan and samurai badass stuff. We love it. Great, fantastic. Now, the trailer for Ghost of Yōtei, which is clearly the sequel, you want to say, like kind of a Ghost of Tsushima 2, has been revealed, but I would like to underline that we're going to watch it together, we're going to react and whatnot, but it is a 3 minute thing, so it's more like a teaser, in fact, a reveal trailer more than anything. I don't think we're going to see that much. But what we are going to see is drama and culture wars, my friend. Welcome to 2024. Now, I'm going to do you a massive favor. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to click this, we're going to watch the trailer, we're not going to talk about any culture war, nothing, we're going to do a bigot, woke, racist, bleh. We're not going to do that for the first part of the video, so that if you're tired of the whole culture war and nonsense, then, you know, you can just enjoy a reaction from me, never seen it, first time, we can see it. Very cool. We can talk a little bit about the samurai, the setting, the time period, like we normally do. Then, on the second part of this video, we're gonna jump into the actual culture war, because yes, people are annoyed at this, and some, I would say, rightly so, others are overreacting. So we're gonna, you know, have a look at it, as always, from my perspective, which wants to be real and tell it how it is, but at the same time, we don't want to overreact and exaggerate. We want to be right, you know? But if you're not interested in that part, you can just watch the first section of this video and then click away. Of course, that's not great for my average watch time, which, you know, it's one of the most important elements of being successful on YouTube. But what do I know? Exhaustive as always, but let's begin with the trailer. Let's go. Whew. Captured on PS5 because this, of course, it first launches as a PS5 title, and then in 2030, when we reach Mars with Elon Musk, then you will be able to play this on Steam. That looks pretty. Love the cinematic black and white, very Kurosawa Akira feel.
We are beyond the edge of Japan. People come north to disappear.
So he says that's beautiful mountain there. Of course, the first thought I would think is that Mount Fuji, but then he did say people come north, and then again, Yōtei, I believe, is in Hokkaido.
Yeah.
Mount Yōtei, oh, 1603, okay. So yeah, I believe Mount Yōtei, I'm gonna double check it, you know, because I might be like, well, watch it be Okinawa. North of what? The sea. Yep, I was correct. It is in Hokkaido. So that's, I love it, because Hokkaido is a great choice, I think, when it comes to setting a game, because usually when you play games that are set in feudal Japan, normally they are in Honshu. You're either, you know, Kyoto, Osaka, Kansai, maybe Edo, depending on the situation, so the former name for Tokyo. But setting it in Hokkaido is very cool, because Hokkaido has fantastic, as someone who's lived in Japan, Hokkaido has its own colors, nature, landscapes. So I think that's a fantastic idea. I love that. Also note that the date, of course, is not random. 1603 is the beginning of the Edo period, so we are about 3 centuries after Ghost of Tsushima. I love that, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
But you are hunting. And now, every Ronin here...
Oh no, don't stand up on the katana, please. It's gonna bend, for crying out loud.
...is after you.
Not only he stands on the katana, but you could tell this guy hates his weapon because he's using it to just stick a note on the... yeah.
Still think you're the hunter?
I love the mask. You know, there is something, this kind of reminiscent a little bit of the Way of the Samurai series, and whenever you could find a mask, then I would always wear it with my character because it looks really nice. I love the mask. Is that like the jealous woman mask, maybe? Like the demon of jealousy, I believe. Ooh. Yeah. I hope she cleaned that katana before resheathing, because that's what a real samurai would have done. The graphic of the model looks great. I mean, one of the things that I was reading a little bit when I was looking around is that people were complaining about the graphics, but so far, I mean, what the heck? I need to see a little bit of the gameplay. This is clearly cinematic, but as of now, usually modern game cinematic is still created with in-game models, and the in-game models look great. Yeah, very reminiscent when it comes, but look at the colors though. That's why I was saying Hokkaido is going to be great. Look at all this red, and then you'll have some orange, some yellow. Hokkaido has its own beautiful color palette. So I think we're starting to see this a little bit. And I think if one studio is going to be capable of representing Hokkaido in a way that is going to be stunning, not stunning and brave, just stunning, it's gonna be Sucker Punch Studio. This is a beautiful shot, by the way. Very reminiscent of the original, absolutely. But I noticed some people were complaining of the fact that, oh, it looks like a 5-year-old game. How pathetic. I'm like, come on. I was brought up. Okay, I'm gonna have to show you what we used to call good graphics back in the day. Seriously, Gen Z? Wow. Yeah, this looks gorgeous. Dual wielding, interesting approach. I mean, at the end of the day, in this period, it makes sense that she would dual wield. I didn't really see if it's a katana and a wakizashi, which would be the way a Japanese samurai would dual wield whenever they did, rather than having like two katana the same length. I'll have to double check that. But at the end of the day, Miyamoto Musashi was a massive proponent of the idea of dual wielding, and this is the period, you know, end of Sengoku period, beginning of Edo period, is the period in which dual wielding started to become a thing. So the fact that they introduced it in the game, very much appreciated. I'm not going to do it if I have a choice. I prefer two hands securely on my katana. As a kendo practitioner, someone who practices kenjutsu, I'm not a fan of dual wielding, but it is the right period to introduce that. Katana and wakizashi, they did it right. So that looks fantastic. You see, look at the yellow leaves, yeah. Wow. Alright, so I have to say a few things about sort of immediate first impressions. People who complain about the graphics, yeah, I don't agree, and I think the graphics look fantastic. When it comes to the setting, very excited about it. So of course we didn't see much, this is a teaser, I don't know anything about the gameplay, but then again, considering the fact that Ghost of Tsushima had fantastic gameplay, the combat was fluid, I loved it, I will trust them. So right now, just looking at this, I have to say I'm very excited, but let's give it a little context, shall we? If you type Ghost of Yōtei, you will notice that, apart from a few videos that just give a little bit of a neutral reaction like I did, a lot of videos will talk about Ghost of Yōtei being woke. Now, personally, I'll of course share my opinion, but just suffice to say that I personally don't use the word woke anymore because people use it against me, in the sense that, yes, I understand absolutely why some people are really so fed up with politics being injected in games, and I absolutely am fed up too. They have become a little sensitive when it comes to the idea of, oh, if I see something that even slightly resembles the idea of maybe this is gonna go into that injection of politics direction, then immediately they're gonna start having a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. On the other hand, I also understand people that are instead annoyed of those that overreact and call everything woke, because I myself am target to that, in the sense that whenever I make a video that I say, hey, this specific character in history was a man, this wasn't a woman, or this specific character in history, they say he was gay but he wasn't, then of course the anti-woke people are gonna love me for it, and instead the far left people are gonna hate me and call me racist, bigot, and blah blah. But then the moment I bring in evidence and sources, not political activism, but just sources that describe, for instance, the women warriors of the Sarmatian tradition, which are well documented, immediately, oh, Metatron, you're woke, you're so woke, the Wokatron. So yeah, I get the side that is fed up and pissed off with all of these politics being injected in games. Absolutely, I 100% agree with you. I hate it as well, and I will always condemn it. But on the other side, I also understand those that are a little fed up of people that will say that this watch is woke, my drink is woke, this helmet is so woke. Why do you have a blue car in the back? Are you woke? Like, seriously, the people that... Oh my gosh, those people that call me the Wokatron, if they see my second shelf from the top, where I have my personal collection of 1970s Atari's video games, and they see that color palette, they're gonna think I'm an LGBT activist. Anyways, jokes aside, let's talk about this. Generally speaking, there are two arguments that have been presented in favor of this idea that the game may contain a certain level of far-left activism into it. Number one, the idea of a woman protagonist, and number two, the idea of who the lead actress is that the character is modeled after. Now, the first is a non-argument. The second one, they may have a point. Allow me to elaborate. If we look at the actress, and we're gonna do that, then I do understand where you're coming from. She is indeed, for what we can see, a very politically active person, and if anything, that in a way justifies a little bit the reservation that some people have when it comes to her tweets, because she's very much of what appears to be a far-left activist. But as long as her politics are her own, that's her freedom of speech. As long as the politics are not translated into the game, I have no problems with it. Say whatever you want. Now, given a couple of her tweets I'm gonna show you now do make it appear that she has an inherent problem with white people, and if that's the case, then I would consider her to be a horrible person. The same way as if someone on a completely different situation would start tweeting stuff against black people just because of the color of their skin, then I would say that's a horrible person. I need more evidence before I condemn someone publicly, if you know what I mean. Do I agree with her politics? No, she's too extreme for me. I don't like far left, I don't like the far right, and when I say far right, I mean actual far right, not the same way as some people are like, hey, you have a left hand and a far right hand. Like some people call everything far right. I mean, to some people, I'm far right. So it's like, yeah, when I say far right, I mean the actual far right. So I hate extremists on both sides because I hate toxicity. I won't follow her, I won't read her tweets, she means nothing to me. With that being said, as long as she keeps her politics pest stuff, whatever. Once again I say, freedom of speech. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth. Now we're going to jump into sort of examining the situation with the actress a little more. So I'm going to show you some of the tweets that have gone viral, so they're already public. I don't agree with this actress' positions. They are too extreme for me, 100%. And I really dislike that sort of attitude, in fact, because I myself am constantly attacked not only by the super anti-woke people, but I'm also attacked by the super far-left people that the moment you are even slightly further right than Karl Marx, then, oh, you're a far far-right grifter, racist, bigot, transphobic, homophobic, all that kind of people. With that being said, please don't harass her. Don't do that, because that's not going to make you any better than those people that will harass you because of your political takes if you have an opposite take to her. And that's one of the reasons why I will never use the word bigot in my life, because people overuse it. But at the same time, I stopped using the word woke because people overuse it. I'm a woke bigot, I'm an alt woke, I'm a far-right homophobic left-wing troll. That's me. Thank you. So she writes, if Steven Yeun wins an Academy Award, there will officially be more acting Oscars won by real Asians than by white people in yellowface. Little race fixated, are you? This one kind of rubbed me wrong. For Halloween, I'm going to wear a sexy white bird costume, but only honk and be extremely shitty to people all night. So basically what she's saying is she's going to pretend to be what she perceives to be a typical exemplification or sample for a white woman. That is racist, Erica, and we don't appreciate that. Is this a situation where she actually hates white people? Well, if she hates white people, she can go to hell. Quoting her, the positive messages you learn from a story are yours alone. That the storyteller is a hateful bigot, oh my gosh, I hate this word, on the wrong side of history can't take that away from you. Trans and non-binary people are valid, fight hatred, don't think I've ever said the F word here, but truly F turfs. Well, you pretty much said that white women are toxic, but you sound toxic to me. And then she says, I hope now you understand that you have a responsibility not to give hatred a voice. That includes hatred against white people. Islamophobia and white supremacy do not deserve a platform. The site allows people to disseminate good messages and create loving communities. Protect those, don't give power to messages of hate. I hate hate, but in all of its forms. I don't just hate the hate that comes from one side of the spectrum. I hate hate. So, if you attack hate on one side, but then you spread hate on your own side, that makes you a hypocrite. Erica. Now, I'm going to stop showing this because I'm a little bored about the culture war, I'll be honest. She has a lot of stuff like abolish the police, like typical buzzwords, if you will. But as long as those buzzwords don't, like, can you imagine in 1603, Edo period Japan, that the protagonist starts saying, defund the samurai? I mean, if I start seeing that, that's when I'm going to draw the line, okay? But I need to see it. Because if there is no politics in the game, and it's just a good game set in Edo period Japan, her politics mean nothing to me, just as much as the personal politics of, for example, one of the many people involved in the creation of Kingdom Come Deliverance meant nothing to me. It seems like one of the main creators is very conservative. Who cares? Why play the game? Was there any section where you would get like right-wing propaganda pushed onto you? No. So I have no problems with this personal politics. Therefore, likewise, if I have to be honest and, fair when it comes to this, she doesn't represent the game. I understand she has the face, and then you may have a negative association, so if that's enough for you to not want to play the game, hey, that's your freedom. But for me, it's like I don't particularly care, because I understand that the game is a lot more than one single lead actress. Now, why did they choose her? I don't know. Did they know that she was this politically involved? Maybe they didn't and just looked at her CV. Or perhaps they did know and they chose her specifically because of it, because they wanted it to be an image and an opportunity to push political ideas. Well, we'll see. It's very easy to find that out, because it depends on how the game is written and what happens. As of now, I don't see that just yet, so I'm not ready to wage war. The game may still be fantastic, and if that's the case, then great. Who cares about her politics? It's a freedom of speech, just like I have my freedom of speech to share and say what I want, not only on my platform, but on, social media. Fellow YouTuber Endymion, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea who he is, never watched any of his videos, I know nothing about this person. This is clearly not an attack, but his tweet went viral and everyone is mentioning it when it comes to this, so I am gonna read it too. And the tweet says, Ghost of Tsushima sequel stars a Japanese woman samurai warrior, because of course it does. They can't help themselves until every franchise that was built on masculinity is replaced by women. Ghost of Yōtei is hopefully a smaller spin-off game, but if this is the true sequel, and this is the new main character over Jin Sakai, F that. So sick of the forced girl boss narrative, man. Right, this is nonsense. This is nonsense, Endymion. I understand the sentiment, believe me. Politically motivated girl bosses are annoying. But then again, Lara Croft, I mean, she can be pretty girl boss, but she's a 90s girl boss, and so I have no problems with that. There are plenty of games where we have women leads, but that doesn't mean that there is any activism when it comes to that. And I'll be honest with you, if it's a first-person game, I play as a guy, but if it's a third-person game, I usually create female characters when I have a choice, because I prefer to constantly stare at a woman's behind rather than a guy. But that's just me. Once again, Endymion, this is not an attack on you, but I do want to underline that if there is one culture where a woman warrior would still be historically accurate, then it is the Japanese culture, because yes, they were extremely rare, but they did exist. So personally, I don't have a problem with that. Moreover, I can tell you for a fact that this is not a situation whereby Jin Sakai was swapped for a woman. This isn't a case of gender swap, because there are 3 centuries in between these two characters. Therefore, unless you want the Jin Sakai to be an immortal, then considering the setting, which to me is a fantastic choice, by the way, Edo period is gonna be I'd rather have 2 games that give me a 14th century and a 17th century Japan, even if this means 2 completely different characters, because I enjoy the idea that now I own 2 video games that can, today I want to live 1300s Japan, but tomorrow I want to play a little bit in the Edo period, and this being such different and divergent eras, and I would very much give up the idea of let's still play as Jin Sakai, because then it would be in the same era, and personally, I enjoy this way more. I personally expect this game to be a historically accurate, up to a certain point, a representation of Edo period Japan. So if they're going to start having characters that push modern day political agendas, then yes, I'm going to be pissed, because I'm like, that's not what Edo period Japanese people thought. I would very much resent it, and if that's what they're doing, I will not buy the game. I can tell you that much. With that being said, it's kind of too early to say. And even though, as someone who absolutely hates the DI check boxes on all the games, and also when it comes to the idea of gender swapping, once again, if they set a game in ancient Rome, but they swap Julius Caesar for Julia Caesar, then yes, we're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna hate it, and I'm gonna be very ranty about it. But in this case, I don't really see it necessarily as that. And the reason why I think that's important to disconnect the art from the artist as much as you can, not with Shadman, whatever his name is. In that case, it's too far. No, I don't disconnect it there. But when it comes to people that are just expressing their free political takes, even if I may disagree 99% with what they say, I can disconnect the game from her. Also because let's remember that this game is not just her. Yes, there might be a couple of suits that I hate. We're going to talk about one of those, by the way, in a second. But there are also so many talented 3D artists and script writers and programmers and coders that she doesn't represent them. And I don't want to boycott a game that is also the work of all of those people that are innocent. They're doing nothing, and in fact they're producing a game that perhaps is going to be fantastic. So let's see the game. Let's see if the game is a platform to voice her politics. I'm gonna boycott it. I'm gonna be the head, the vanguard. I'll make a video, we'll get 1 million views. I'm gonna destroy it. But if the game doesn't do that, the simple fact that there is a sword woman, I have no problem with that. And that's not enough to call it woke or political injection, the same way as Bayonetta, Tomb Raider were not political just because you have... And I mean, Lara Croft can be pretty girl bossy, but it's in a non-political way, if you know what I mean. You do, right? And this is, I think, the best moment to talk about Mr. Sean Layden. This is gonna make you cringe. Oh yeah. Now, the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is like Sony's former chairman. I absolutely understand why he's former. Because he did say, he responded to the backlash, of course, and he says, 1, it's a game, an entertainment, a story a team of creators believes in. They want to make this. Yeah, I mean, nothing he said there is technically incorrect. I would say out of place, like completely irrelevant. But yeah, I agree with number 1. But number 2, number 2. It's a game. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Sony, have you learnt nothing? My gosh, you say this after Concord? Are you joking? Like, literally, I can already imagine this guy speaking and all of the other suits at Sony going like, oh my gosh. They're having like PTSD for what happened with Concord. Listen, suits. People are talking a lot about girl power. You know what suits should be afraid of? Gamers power. Because without us, you are nothing. Just like without my subscribers, I am nothing. So for your sake, AAA companies, if you don't want to experience what happened to Ubisoft stocks, maybe start considering stopping this sort of rhetoric because it does not fare well for you. For us, oh, we'll live. There are a lot of good games to play and to buy. Then he says, in fact, why not make the game you want yourself? Oh, I'll take you on that. Oh, I'm so taking you on that. Look, I've already downloaded Unreal Engine. Oh yeah, no politics in my game, mate. Sean. You'll see what I mean, Sean. Now, the next comment that I'm going to share with you, I want to give credit where credit is due. I did not find, but I found it through Sydney Watson. So she made a pretty good video, I have to say, when it comes to this, because she was pretty fair when it comes to the assessment of this. And once again, the idea that just because there is a woman lead, it does not automatically mean that the game is woke. It's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it? But regardless, cool watch, check it out. But then again, she found this comment that I thought was fantastic. To the surprise of literally no one, the main character checks almost all the modern audience's boxes. Female, old, ugly stick. Is she old? I don't think she's old. I mean, whatever. Apart from being POC. Okay, listen. It's a game set in Japan. It's set in Japan. What did you want her to be? A white Swedish woman? Again, I'm the guy who defends that. Like, if you set a game in Europe during a time period where most people were white Europeans, of course, I'm going to expect the character to be a white European. Yes, but this is set in Japan. So once again, POC, what do you mean? Because, I mean, people of color, I suppose, this gets confusing because it keeps changing. But what is a person of color? Because she's not black, she's not African or African American like freaking Yasuke is gonna become if they don't remove the freaking hip-hop music. But Asian people are also POC. What about the Japanese? Because I heard people saying that, usually when I say people, I mean far-left activists, that say the Japanese are white adjacent. So how is she POC? She's Japanese. But then again, if by POC you actually do include the Japanese, because I guess it depends. Some people say that that's POC, that's not POC. I'm Italian, so I'm white. No, you're not white. It's becoming a little complicated, but whatever. If you are one of those people like this that thinks that a Japanese woman in Japan is POC and modern audience tick boxes, then you are delusional because she is Japanese. So yeah, I want her to be Japanese, precisely. That was the whole thing with Yasuke. The people were like, why didn't they get like a Japanese samurai man instead of exactly, she's Japanese, she's supposed to be Japanese. Unless I'm missing something. And then, but they changed that last minute after the whole AC Shadow disaster. Well, that's a statement that requires proof and evidence. I want evidence. Moreover, why would they do it? I mean, if a company sees that Assassin's Creed Shadows is indeed a disaster, then why would they try and do the same thing unless they are like literally masochistic? Living in a clown's world. Well, I do agree with the last one. And of course, the frosting on the cake, it was really cool until woman. Yeah, this is an idiot. Sums up all I wanted to say about this game, because I mean, it is a 3 minutes teaser, isn't it? So it's very soon. The people are already like, oh my gosh, drama, culture war. I will do it, okay? If this ends up being a massive politically driven piece, I'm with you, okay? We will sit this, I'll make a video, I'll fucking annihilate, I will destroy them with reason and logics. I'll do it. But this is too soon. It's not enough to wage war, so perhaps let's relax and let's not start shooting at the target before we understand if the target is indeed the enemy or no. Friend or foe. Alright, number ones, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember thumbs up, and if you're not. Alright, number ones, if you enjoyed this video, please remember thumbs up. If you're not a member of this community, become a number one. Subscribe to my channel for more content from the Metatron, and I will see you on my next daily upload. See you tomorrow. And remember, the Metatron has spread his wings.